Karen.
Yes.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
For the benefit of the audience, can you confirm the fact that we have a dog?
I'm not sure how that's going to benefit the audience, but yes, we do have a dog.
We have a dog, okay? His name is?
Hunter.
Hunter the dog.
Hunter
okay.
McGee if he's naughty.
Hunter McGee. Yes. Well, now how ironic would it be if Hunter knew more about our spiritual journey than we do?
I totally think he does.
Do you?
He's I don't know, man. He's got something.
Well, then what if our friend's cat is quietly judging you, not for leaving the laundry in the dryer, but for ignoring your soul's purpose?
Oh, well, that would just be another thing to add on the cat judging me for.
We're not just talking about animals today. We're talking about how animals might be the mirrors of our own awakenings. And I promise this isn't another does Fluffy want more treats kind of thing. Nope, this one might just make you see your furry family member and yourself in a whole new way.
I feel like I need to shave now.
My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
both want to believe.
So we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something.
Anything.
That will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic Metaphysicians.
Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
Welcome back to a spectacular episode of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Our guest today is an intuitive guide and professional animal communicator who helps people understand the deeper messages that their pets are trying to share with them. But what makes her unique is that she doesn't just stop at decoding barks and meows. She helps us see how our animals reflect our own emotional and spiritual journeys back to us. Now, through her work, she shows how pets can be powerful healers, teachers, and partners in our path of self-discovery. Now, I don't know about you, Karen, but I can totally see Guru Hunter sitting cross-legged on the floor chanting Om.
If he was brave enough to sit on the floor.
That's a good point. And not to have a carpet on it, yeah. We're thrilled to dive into this fascinating conversation with Alicia Sweezer. Alicia, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm cracking up. The conversation and jokes you guys were saying before were just hysterical. So I'm so excited to be here.
What jokes?
Wow.
I hered them. I can't guarantee you did, but I heard the jokes.
See, most podcasts seem like they fly by. Not this one.
Will this never end? But
We'll
Karen,
chat later, Karen.
Nice. Karen, I need to clarify. Furry?
You said they're a mirror.
Yes.
So if I'm looking at Hunter and that's what I look like, I need to shave.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't a good joke.
It was. You just didn't get it.
Okay, maybe Alicia got it, but all right, Alicia. Nice. Okay, so folks, get ready for another team up episode against Will. Here we go. All right, Alicia, you've been described as an animal communicator, and depending on where you are in your spiritual journey listening to the show, you are either very well acquainted with what a pet communicator is, but sometimes people come to listen to the show that maybe are just starting out and maybe they don't truly understand what that means. Can you help just set the table for us?
Absolutely. So what pet communicators and mediums, because you can be one or both, I happen to be both, so I can help animals that are still here in body and those that have transitioned. And because a lot of those that have transitioned, they have lots of messages for us, especially our spiritual awakening. They're huge teachers for us. So pet communication, at least for me, how it looks is exactly like I'm talking to you right now. So I talk to animals just like I'm talking to people. They will, because my two strongest clairs are claircognizant and clairsentient, which are knowing and feeling. I get the words instantly, or I get feelings, and then they'll show me pictures and sounds secondary. So clairvoyant, clairaudient secondary to that. But for me, it looks just like this. And so if I happen to be out on a hike, I may talk to some of the animals if they're willing. Usually they're like, I got to find food. What are you doing? Why are you talking to me?
What do you want, lady?
Right. Like, dude, it's hot. What do you want? But I get that question a lot. Everyone's like, oh, if you're out walking, and it's like, yeah, everyone wants to have the whole Snow White experience, right? Where every little bird and they got things to do. So, and then when it comes to my clients, it's anything you have from behavioral issues. A lot of people, they get rescues. And so we don't know the trauma that they had before. So there's some training, there's some abuse recovery, medical decisions, end of life. So animal communication can help with all of those situations of where you just want to know what your animal wants. You want to know what they're saying. You want to know what they're thinking. You want to know why they do that one thing that makes them crazy.
We need to introduce you to Hunter.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We've got a lot of questions about that. But,
Poor little guy.
all right. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense, pet communicator. We're going to talk a little bit later about something that I'm claircognizant also, and I think I can talk to my dog too, actually he talks to me.
So that leads me to my question. How do you know, or how did you find out the first time that it's real, that it's not just you thinking this is probably what he wants?
That was my next question. How'd you stop reading my script?
I don't have my glasses on.
Okay.
I'm a will communicator.
So for me, it's kind of a funny story because I was born this way, being able to talk to animals, but I didn't know. I was just one of those kids who was always really good with animals. And I'm very introverted. So wherever we went, I was like, where's the dog? Where's the cat? I don't want to talk to the people. And so that was my whole life. But I also knew I always wanted to be a wildlife biologist. And so I went to school, I was able to do that. And I was in my 30s. I actually thought being able to talk to animals was a wildlife biologist trait. I thought all wildlife biologists talk to animals because that's what science feels like to me. And I was in the field one day with a group of guys and I said, well, you guys aren't talking to the animals we just tagged? And they were like, well, what are you? And I was like, I'm going to go stand by the truck now. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's just me. Because when you've been doing it your whole life, you don't know that there's a difference.
So I heard you say wildlife biologist, and I immediately thought of marine biologist for some reason. So I was like, oh, does that mean you can interpret the whale songs? 'Cause that would be pretty cool, right? No, but
that would be really cool. I don't know, as far as like interpreting I've never tried that. Wildlife biologist is the terrestrial, so it's the land.
Right.
Everything else, is marine, and I don't like. I have a healthy respect for the ocean. Although on my bucket list is going in one of the shark cages with like the great whites. But other than that, I get into the ocean up to like my knees. Like when you know what lives in there, and I can't see it coming. Like I'm fine if I were to get eaten by a lion or something on land, but I want to be able to see it coming.
You're fine with that, are you? Oh.
Well, no, but the circle of life. Like if I've got to pick one being in a very dark ocean and underwater, no. So.
That is more scary. But no, if I was in a shark cage, they'd be making a movie out of that because who knows what would happen. It'd be bad.
If Alicia was in a shark cage,
she could just say, don't eat me.
Well, no, we've got a microphone down there. All you hear is, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you.
Right.
I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. And
I'm all, hi, let me tell you.
all right. Well, thanks for setting the table for us. Now, I gotta get right to the meat of it, right? You mentioned that our pets seem to mirror our own inner world, right? What do you mean by that exactly? It's not that Karen has to shave, right?
Oh, no. Karen is beautiful. She doesn't need to do anything.
That's true.
I like her.
Right. It's true. So there are so many instances. I mean, we talk a lot about how people can mirror us, right? Like if we're seeing something in another person, they're mirroring something about ourselves, if we're judging them that we may not like about ourselves. So with animals, one of the things that they can do is, because energy is the universal language, and animals never have decreased their connection to it. Humans very much have, just with our societies, our tech, all of these kind of things. And so they can read how we're doing before we are even aware of what our emotional state is, what our energetic state is, because they're tied into that. And one of the things that I work with a lot of my clients, particularly it shows up a lot with reactive dogs, which we're really seeing just universally an increase in reactive dogs, which what are we seeing in our human population? Reactivity is everywhere. Everyone's emotional regulation, the skill set for that is really, really decreased, right? Like that's why what they've done with your beautiful name, Karen, right, is the don't act like a Karen. Everybody's using that as the indicator now. People are just melting down everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that in their pets. Like I'm getting more and more dog clients that are reactive. And so they can very much mirror what's happening. So if one of the things we work with to kind of shift those situations for our dogs is, where are we contributing to that? Like if you're coming home and you're in a job that you're stressed all the time, you're in a relationship that's really not working for you, but you're trying. Well, I call that like the tolerating phase, right? Particularly where you're like, it's fine. It's fine. Like we've been taught in such a suck it up society that we just keep stuffing and we're like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Your animal is feeling all of that and going, you're not fine. And then the symptoms will start to show up in them. I have a client right now who she sent her cat to a friend of theirs because this cat is having massive kidney and urinary issues. And when my friend asked, I was like, there's some stuff going on in the house. There's some stuff in their marriage that they're not dealing with. And it's showing up in this cat's health.
Okay, so I changed my mind. I don't want you to talk to Hunter.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid she's going to say I have liver cancer or something.
Okay.
No. But they can just mirror so many things that are going on. And so if you are noticing a shift in your animal's behavior, one of the things we can really look at is like what's going on for us. So like my kitty Pip that transitioned a couple of years ago, he always had allergy issues. But on the days that he was like super sick all of a sudden, I knew that was me. And I was like, ooh, all right, where am I not taking care of myself? Where am I not managing my energy well? Because he was trying to take care of it for me.
That's interesting. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that animals seem to be empathic, right? If that's the case, do you think that they take on our illnesses?
They absolutely can.
Oh, boy.
It is one of the things that we look at as far as there's many instances where animals will pull illnesses out of their owners. And it's one of the things, one, as humans, like I had to teach my body to stop doing that because as an empathic and as sort of healing, my body would walk around and be like, oh, let me take that headache away from that person. And I was like, I got enough of my own stuff.
Right.
Like, I've had a bunch of brain injuries. I got spines. Like we're full. There is no vacancy. And so I had to teach my own body, like, that's not how we help people. That's not how we heal them. And so we do come to a place where we teach our animals the same thing. I would constantly have conversations with Pip of like, I told you, this isn't yours to do. This is mine. Thank you for showing me that I was not, in alignment. And then I would take care of it myself. And so they absolutely can. And it's one of the things that we get to teach our animals, like that's not how you can help us. That's not how you can be a contribution to us.
And can they just clear that just by you saying, dude, cut it out?
Yeah. So if one, depending on what it is and what the illness, like if it's gotten all the way into their body and it's not theirs, same with human bodies, there's some clearing work we can do. So there's some energy. And then there's the education piece of like, this isn't how we do it. This is not how we help. And then along with that is the emotional piece. Like even as human to human, we're like, we want to help this person. We get into like, where's the rescue energy, right? We can't rescue. And the caretaking. I was a massive caretaker in my relationships and that sort of thing. And it's like, that's not actually caring. Caretaking is caring plus responsibility. And the second, whether an animal becomes responsible for us or we become responsible for another human in that energetic way, it's no longer a contribution.
Okay. Our dog is a neurotic mess.
I know, but I love him. I don't know. Like, I just love him so much.
Well, no, so do we. But which one of those?
Like the dogs that shakes. He's just like, he's afraid of wood floors.
Yeah.
And he's super, like, there's a little area that he has to walk through every day, 2, 3, 4 times to go to the bathroom. And every time, if there's like a box or something new there, it's like the whole family, come on, Hunter, you can do it.
Be
come
brave.
On,
you can
come
be
on,
brave,
little boy. And,
right.
he's like 45 pounds. He's not like this tiny little thing. So he makes his way and then he runs. And it's like, yay.
Right. So I need to know which one of us is the neurotic one that he's taking that on from.
You really want to know the answer to that one?
No, I don't actually. Never mind.
No, I'm teasing. He has a little bit of like a lot of that is just his own
Yeah,
that
he
he
was a
came in with.
rescue.
He's
Yeah.
got a little like he has a little OCD neurosis, just born that way, and then some of the situations he was in contributed to it as well.
Have you communicated with Hunter already?
Oh yeah, we've heard like as soon as like they just show up. I mean, I usually have a picture, like that's how I do the clients because it's done remotely. But as soon as we all connected here, he was like, "Hey, they're going to be talking about me, and this is so."
Okay.
All right, so
That's
who's his
why I was
favorite?
like, I can feel
I
it.
was going to
love
go
it.
there. I was going to say settle a bit.
Who's his favorite?
Oh no, I don't think we want to do that it is one of the most and you guys are very sweet and you're fun about it. Like this is because there usually is a person.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just a different type of relationship. It doesn't mean one loves you more or less. It's just a different type of connection.
Except in this case.
Most couples are okay. It does get a little awkward when I once in a while get a couple that you can see that it's very demonstrative of some of the other issues that are going on in their relationship that they're not talking about. One of the partners is not really feeling valued, and the fact that the dog is that favorite and it's not the one feeling valued, it gets a little awkward. And so I do a little, marriage counseling, and
Oh, wow.
most of the time it's in fun and couples laugh about it like you guys are. But sometimes you're like, all right, well, we're going to get in here. We're going to have a little bit different type of session, and we're going to do some counseling. And because one of them is really feeling taken advantage of. And when the dog gets the attention that the other person really wants, it can, make it a little tricky.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, honey.
Now, what if the dog is the one that gets mad when he sees attention he's not getting? Like Karen and I will like embrace or hug or whatever, and he goes crazy.
Well, he doesn't get mad. He just jumps up in the middle. He wants to be in it. Like if we're all sitting on one couch, he's on that couch with us.
Yeah, so I hate to
likes
tell
to
him,
be in the
sorry,
love.
this is not a polyamorous relationship. This is a marriage. This is a monogamous relationship. He cannot be involved. So how can we tell him that?
No, I like it when
You
he
can
comes
tell
and,
him
like,
that is-
joins us. It's all the love.
He's not buying into that. As far as he's concerned, this is everyone, because you can always see sort of where the levels are. And from his point of view, you all are the same. It's not like, oh, they're a couple and then I am separate. For him, he's like, no. I mean, if anything, Karen's kind of the other woman. So
So he likes you more.
I told you.
it's not liking, it's a different type of connection.
Yeah.
So
It's like the kid. You're the fun one. I'm the one that cleans up after. And,
Disciplined.
when he's scared, he comes to me.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a very he's tied into Karen more emotionally, like at this very heart level. And with you, it's like you're the fun one, like she said, but he's also very enamored with you. He's very we're broing out. He's very, that kind of thing. So like I said, it's not one is better than the other. It's just a different type of connection.
Right.
It was real. So our daughter started high school this week. And so we drove her there Monday together. Of course, we dropped her off where nobody would see that she's with both of her parents, so she could be cool. But we got home and I'm like, oh my gosh. And Hunter, when you sit on the couch, he'll want to sit next to you. So he's kind of touching you. But he climbed right up on top of me, in my lap, his face right here. And he just doesn't normally do that. And he just sat there. He's a hugger, so he'll put his little arm out. And he just sat there. And I was like, oh, he feels me.
Yeah, because Mama was freaked out about
freaked out.
baby going to a
Well, she went
2,000 person.
from a school of 250 kids to a school of 2,100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Quite the change.
That's
So.
big.
Okay, so I got to know, how does this neurotic dog possibly help us with our spiritual growth, with our
Yeah.
spiritual awakening? What the heck? I would think my guru would not be a neurotic dog. So
well, maybe he's teaching you to be more patient and loving.
I asked Alicia.
Sorry.
I like Karen. I like her.
Yeah, I guess.
So, one of I think if we back it up to sort of the foundation of the question, because like you said, I thought my guru would look like this. So there's already a filter that what you believe a guru looks like and what the messages should look like and how it should be delivered, as we all do.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that.
Yeah.
But when we put that filter and we project it onto any other person, being, animal, our guides, whatever, then that's where it gets a little fuzzy. and you may not get the messages that you want because and I get it. I have the same where I'm like, I want them to come in exactly like this. I want to be able to hear, yes, these messages, loud and clear. Like I'm always loud and clear with ease and grace. That's how I end every question, every request, everything. And so Karen is actually on the right track of like, who's to say it's not supposed to look a certain way? So I do ask, which is funny. I know you're going to probably like kick me off this recording.
No, you still have another opportunity. Well, you got one more question for you.
She said he liked you more.
I agree. Like for you, it is very much some patience because, hang on, he's delayed. We're going to just wait for him to like finish saying what he wants to say. I didn't know he was going to come in with like a full on, like, this is sort of, I thought I was going to answer in like generic terms, but he's got things to say. So, I'm writing. So,
wow, he's a talker.
Well, Glenn, we knew that.
He's been waiting for someone to actually hear him. It's like, finally.
Oh, when you give them the floor, they're like, la, 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 la. So one of the things in particular of like his little OCD and what your patience is when he thinks you worry way too much.
Me?
And yes. And in his opinion, this is his opinion, the things you worry about are not, he's like, there's other things you could, if you were going to pick something to worry about, there's other things that, for lack of a better word, and I don't usually use this language, so please know this is Hunter's, like, there's better things you could be worrying about than the things you do worry about. And so I don't know if you can see how neurotic that sentence actually is.
Well, I mean, it's par for the course. The dog is a neurotic mess.
Right. But when he's saying to you, though, is like, oh, he's so funny. He's like giving me a bunch of feelings. It's neurotic to worry. One, we all know like worry, stress doesn't actually serve us, but we all do it. We're humans. And for you to worry about the things that actually aren't going to contribute to you, and he wants you to worry about the things that actually might contribute to you. It's very backwards as I'm saying it. I understand that, but that's actually the neurotic part of it, is that it's this backwardness. I'm like, really, Hunter, you couldn't just give it a little clearer for all of these people listening to this going, I have no idea what she's talking about.
I think I do.
Oh.
I think he's talking about, so you worry about stuff that you shouldn't even, like, see, our daughter gets a little stomach ache and he's like, oh, what side of the stomach is it on? Like, it's not appendicitis.
How do you know?
Gas.
How do you know?
But that's your go-to is like, and something, it's like always the word, like me, I could be losing a limb and he'd be like, you're fine.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
But you're that with her and you're that with you. And I think you worry so much about some of these things that it can become things.
Forewarned is forearmed, my love.
I think that's what he's talking about.
And in a very compassionate way, that other people, Hunter's one of them, views that as neurotic.
So it's me. I get it. 2 against 1. Again, I got it.
No,
all right.
No, this
Next
is
question.
one piece. It's not all of his stuff is not you. You asked, but
I'm sure there's plenty of me stuff.
this was the question you asked about his specific neurotic. And it's like, yes, this whole patient stuff where you go, oh, I instantly went to appendicitis and my daughter is, and we go down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
So we can go, oh, I'm going to take that pause right here because Hunter, what do we do with him when he's got to go down that little part, right? We the whole world pauses for him and then we walk him through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
So, Karen, in all these conversations, we've talked about how people choose each other when they come onto the world, right? We have soul contracts with each other, if you believe in that kind of thing. Is that the same with our animals? Like, do they have a soul contract with us?
Yes, they absolutely do.
Okay. So Hunter had to be rescued by us.
Yes. Well, in particular, like where I talked about it being a different kind of connection, he has a soul contract with you.
Me.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And so...
Poor dog.
I'm just bonus.
She's fabulous. Who would want to be the bonus? And it doesn't, like I said, because it's one of those things, a lot of my clients, they'll get an animal, they'll have a pet, and they're like, I've had pets my whole life, and I've never had an animal like this one before. This connection, that's the soul contract connection. That's why it's different. And particularly when those ones transition, that's why it's so devastating. And even beyond soul contract is the soul family, right? So the soul family is a group of beings, animals, creatures, all these kind of things that we travel through time with. And so when you have that particular, you get this pet, this animal, and you're like, I've never felt this before. A lot of the times that's soul family. And then they feel bad, particularly if they're a multi-pet household, because they're like, I'm not supposed to love one more than the other. And I'm having favorites and I'm not supposed to do that. And I was like, it's not that one is more or better. It's just a different type of connection. This one's soul family. These other ones are traditional, for lack of a better word, soul contracts. But they absolutely do have soul contracts with us.
Okay.
Wow.
And that doesn't even mean that it's soul contract. And I'm not saying this in specific to Hunter, but a lot of people think, oh, the soul contract is supposed to be their whole life. Majority of the time it is. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're supposed to be with us for a particular set of time, a few years, and then they're meant to go help someone else. I have one client, she's got 5 kitties, and she's had them all, and right now all of them are meant to be going somewhere else.
Wow.
Okay.
So maybe Kira was my soul contract dog.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, a dog before when we first met, she had another dog that was definitely her love.
Yep. I can. Whew.
Yeah. Okay, so then let me ask you a question about Hunter, because I'm pretty sure that he's constantly bombarding me with thoughts like, hey, I need water. Hey, I need to go outside. Hey, I need a cookie, right? And yet, when I try to talk to him, he flipping ignores me. So what the heck, right? If he can talk to me, how can I not talk back to him?
So he's so funny. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. Because I know I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell him and he's going to be like, what? So one of the things is that it can be really challenging to talk to our own animals.
Oh.
Because anytime there's emotional attachment, connection, things get fuzzy. This is why your friends are not your clients, right? So like even the human side of my business, like my friends, because anytime you're attached, the intuitive part gets a little fuzzy. So
or
for
furry,
everyone
as
out
a
there
case can
listening,
maybe.
yeah, like please know it even for me, it's sometimes I have bratty animals and they never talk to me anyway. They do it on purpose. So
Nice.
They're teenagers.
they are like, they're like, oh, I'm not going to tell, we're going to go to the vet and you're going to have a meltdown, but I'm not going to tell you anything. And I'm like, can you give me a little something? Can you give me? And they're like, mm-mm. So, but I love them. So it can be really hard to talk to your own animals. The other part is they can be bratty, like I'm saying. And you're not wrong. This boy does not stop talking. Like if I was in your, like, it's a lot. Like he does not stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of his, neurotic part.
Yeah.
But he's so funny because he also has the running dialogue. And so like as women, right, it's usually one of the things we always have that internal voice and men are like, what are you talking about? It's just quiet. Like we are so envious of that.
It's actually the opposite with us.
Is it the
He's
opposite?
got the narrator, which I'm like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah. So does Hunter. He never, like, it's for me to be tapped into him this entire time. Like I am having to pull energy in to keep my energy up because he's like, la, 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 la,
Okay,
la, 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 la.
so tell Hunter to stop because we can't afford you. Tell him to stop.
It's his personality. He has this running narrative. So yeah, he's just talking all of the time to himself. It's just there.
I can
So
totally see.
I'm not surprised that you guys can feel it or kind of like hear it. And so my invitation would be to go ahead and like relax about it. Like you're not missing anything. He just has a constant going on in there of like talking to himself.
But it would be cool to like have like a bro talk with him, right? Like, hey, dude, what you doing today? Like, what's on the docket, or or
I'm laying over here.
or hey, go get my beer, things like that. But he doesn't listen to me because he just
Sometimes he does.
I'm wondering if it's just me. If I'm just not psychic enough to send him the
sometimes
messages.
he listens to you.
Like when?
I don't know. I'm sure he does
No,
sometimes.
never does. Like everyone else in his family, he just doesn't listen to me. No, never.
Well, So my invitation would be, because I just want to, because I know I can feel how important this is to you, and I don't want you to leave without this, is to open the door of what you think the messages are supposed to look like when they come in. So once again, where we talked about like what you think a guru is supposed to look like.
Right.
And so it's not that he's not. I can feel a little bit of I'm not going to use the word block, but there's a little bit of a barrier there of how you think they're supposed to come in, how you think you're supposed to be hearing him.
Well, I get his messages. Like claircognizant, right? I know. Like I'll tell Karen, oh, he needs water, and then we check his bowl, and sure enough, there's no water in his bowl, right? So I'm getting his messages. He's just ignoring mine, and that's the problem. So
you're wanting, like, what does the message look like? Yeah, like you want him to go do something and he doesn't do it, so that's why you think he's ignoring it, or
even if I send him like, hey, do you want a cookie? If I don't say it, I'll just like really focus really hard, and nothing. He just doesn't. But then the minute I say cookie, he like jumps up and like celebrates. But if he was hearing my messages, he would have heard that and gotten excited, I would think, right?
Well, remember that bratty part that I talked about?
But he would have a cookie. I
know, but he's kind of, not all the time, but sometimes he's just like, let's see if I can make him do stuff.
That's it. I'm done with this dog.
I wonder, like, does he listen to Sienna?
I don't know.
I don't listen to her as much. I think he's not that tuned into her as much.
To Sienna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's my dog.
He's your dog.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone listening to this or watching this right now at home is interested in creating some sort of communication avenue between them and their pet, what kind of guidance can you give someone to start that process?
The first thing, whether it's with your pet or your own just living in this world intuition, is knowing how you actually get your information. Everybody is different. So like we talked about you being claircognizant, right? So there's clairvoyant, which is sight. There's clairaudient, which is hearing. Claircognizant, which is knowing. Clairsentient, feeling. And then you have the taste and the smell. Because if you have this idea that you're supposed to get pictures, but you're actually clairaudient, then you're beating yourself up and you're going, I can't hear them, or even anything else in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Like trying to talk to your spirit guides, any of this. It's like getting really, really clear on how you receive your information is the foundational first step of any intuitive development. And there's tons of information out there. Like I got a free ebook on my website. You can it has breaks down, gives you like tools, practices, YouTube. There's tons of stuff out there of how to like learn what your clairs are, but that is the first one. And then when you know what you are, then you start to use those specific techniques to communicate with your pet.
Any way to get Hunter to stop being bratty and listen to me?
Would you want him any other way?
Yes.
I mean, it would be nice to not have to coax him across that little strip of floor every day, multiple times.
That is true. Like I get that, where you're like, it's almost like having a cat.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
So just that's kind of going back to a question that I had earlier. So I understand what you're saying about learn, if are you clairaudient, cognizant, and all of that. But again, for someone who's starting out, maybe you can you give us an example? Because people will think, well, I think this is what he said, but how do I know? Can you give us an example where you were communicating with an animal and it was very obvious that the communication actually was communication and not just you thinking it was communication?
Yeah. One, there's lots of instances, like particular clients, like I'll say things that I'll have no idea of knowing, like what is in their house or what is it that they want, and favorite toys, or this is, a lot of times it comes through in like messages, like how when their animals are transitioning, they're like, how will I know when they come to visit? And so their animals will give really, really specific instances for that. And so with one lady, I kept telling her, I was like, he keeps showing me biting the back of your legs. And usually they'll be like, it's a feeling, or they'll move something in the house. And she was like, I don't know what that is. And then as we continued through the session, she was like, oh my gosh, that was like, I forgot that was our favorite thing, is like, I would walk down the hallway and he would run behind me, like fake biting at her legs, like he was chasing her. And I said, that's how you'll know when he comes to visit. There's no way I would have had any way of knowing those kind of things.
Yeah.
I had one client where I was like, what is the deal with this purple pillow? And she was like, oh my God, he's upset. He sits on this purple pillow all of the time. And I was like, all right, well, it's his favorite pillow. So if you're doing it with your own animals, and even honestly, you can practice like with your friends. Cause like I said, it can be a little challenging with your own animals, like practice with your friends' animals is once you know how you get the information. And if the animal happens to be on board that day, cause you got to remember, it's no different than any other person or child, and seeing if they're going to actually be able to listen to you.
Okay. Well, really very important question, because a lot of folks are walking around just like a lot of, perhaps not animals, because I guess they seem to be much more in tune to the 5D than we are. Right? We live very firmly in the 3D. We're trying to get to the 5D. Our animals seem to be thriving in the 5D. However, since we're in the 3D, sometimes we miss some very obvious signs that perhaps our pets are trying to communicate with us. So what kind of things should we be on a lookout for in case our pet is trying to communicate with us?
That is a wonderful question. It is true. They are so much more connected to the 5D and actually just to universal energy. Like they really don't lose that connection. They view life and death very differently than humans, because they're like, I'm just transitioning and I'm going to go cross back over, and they never lose that.
So they remember then. Like we forget when we come on, but they always remember. They're in tune with everything.
Yep. They remember their beginning and their end date, and everything. We all have that beginning and end date, and then there's doors along the way, choices, or if our bodies and make different choices. Right. But they don't forget that. And they, just like us, pick the way that they're going to transition.
Okay.
And one of the things that happens a lot is they do it from a very sweet place, but they don't understand what it's like for humans. So animals that choose a very abrupt transition, they think it's a kindness to humans, because they're like, well, then we didn't have to drag it out and there wasn't like all this treatment and suffering and that sort of thing. But they don't understand what that abruptness does for humans. And so there's a lot of times that I do a lot of counseling and education and healing work with people when their animal has chosen, whether it's like getting hit by a car or something like that, where it just happens so fast. The animal's like, oh, when they're up there, doing their contracts, just like us, they're like, this will be easier, but they don't understand what it's like for humans and how it just is not.
In contrast, what if they hang on for dear life to the very, very, very end, like what happened with Kira? But
it was quick. I mean, that sounds weird, but we weren't having to take care of her. We had to give her a pill.
True.
And then she was fine. And then that night she couldn't get up, and by the next morning she was gone.
Right, but she was laying on the ground panting for a long time without being able to move.
But one day.
I know, but it just seemed like.
I know.
Anyway.
I was the one with her. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and some will choose, like that's one of the, a large portion of what animal communication can really help with is it time? Do they want the treatments? Because then that time you have left together, when you have that information, it changes it. So all the what ifs, the worries, particularly if there's any financial considerations that are in there, that if someone can't afford the treatment, and if they know their animal didn't want the treatment anyway, like that time they have left is then filled with, the joy and the love and the playtime and all of that. And it's just a completely different experience. And yeah, so when our animals are trying to teach us things, like I said, the kitty I had that transitioned, Pip, he was he was always trying to teach me about boundaries, because like I said, I'm a recovering people pleaser, recovering, perfectionist. And he was
not.
When he was kitten, he loved everybody. And then he was abused at a vet hospital. Oh. And I picked up a different cat overnight. And from that point on, he never let anyone touch him but me.
Wow. And
so when there would be particular people in my life that, there was a time I was renting rooms, and, the roommate situation is not always the best. And he would show me over and over and over from his behavior. He would sit in this person's door and hiss at this person. And I'm like, I get it. You want to make us some more money so that, we can move. Like, how about some contributing? But he would always be, he was very clear on who people were a match for me and who weren't. And I would pay attention to that. Our animals are people think like dogs, everyone goes, oh, if your dog's like someone or doesn't like someone, cats are actually really, really good at that also.
Right.
And then the other things are, like I said, they can, when Pip would get sick, I would be like, oh, there's something there I'm supposed to be paying attention to. I'm trying to think so many other ways. There's, I have one client, she had multiple dogs, and there was one dog who, whenever she was supposed to sort of be doing her own healing work, like she was meant to sort of go down the path and develop her intuition, and she wouldn't be listening or be doing her homework. Like, you come to me, everybody goes home with homework, regardless of what you come to see me for, you go home with homework. And she would maybe not be doing her homework. He would come and sit in front of her and stare at her and would not move until she was like, oh, okay,
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Like, and he was a big dog. He was like a lab. And she would be like, why? And so she was like, fine, I'll go do my homework. Like, I'm supposed to go be working on this and learning to talk to my spirit guides. And I have one friend, she started as a client, her dogs transitioned. And there was one day I was sitting here working, and Malcolm, the more calm of the two, showed up, and he was like, listen, she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. I was like, okay. He wouldn't tell me what it was, but he was here definitely telling on her. So I texted her and I was like, look, I don't know what this is about, but Malcolm is in my face and he will not go away. And whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, she's like, I knew that was him. I knew what I was hearing and feeling was him, but I was ignoring it. She's like, I knew it. She's like, all right, I'll go still to this day, I don't know what it was about, but he was here telling on her.
Oh.
And she
That's
was like,
funny.
I knew it. So there's a lot of those times where you have that feeling of like, and we just get to lean into it. Like, lean into the weird, lean into you might be crazy, but you're not.
So do you think our pets are spirit guides?
Some can be. They come in with a purpose just like us. And so some come in to be our teachers. A lot of times after they transition, they will choose to be a spirit guide. They will choose to, the role of spirit guide is actually a job. Like, it's a job you have to accept. And so sometimes they'll be a full-fledged spirit guide. Sometimes they're just teachers that pop in and out to teach us things. Sometimes they're there for companionship. I have one client, she has this cute little chihuahua. His job is just pure joy. Like, that is his whole purpose for being here, is to just bring joy. And he does.
Wait.
Like, you can't see this dog and not be like, oh my God, he's the cutest thing ever. And your heart just
A
opens.
chihuahua?
I know.
Because I've seen those videos.
Yeah, no, he is not like that at all. He is the cutest thing, and he's huge ears, and you just melt when you see him.
Wow.
And that's his purpose. So once again, it comes back to like, what do we think the messages are supposed to look like?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one whose job is just to get you to feel joy and to make you smile. And then there's other ones that are like, I'm going to sit directly in front of you and stare at you until you go do your homework.
Well, I would also posit that Chihuahua is here to tell people not every Chihuahua is a dick.
That's a good ambassador for Chihuahuas.
Yes.
I wonder what Hunter's purpose is.
He's here for love. He's here to love. At least that's what he tells me all the time. Did it sound good?
Yes.
Sounded good, right?
I agree.
All right. Okay, so I've got one more question for you. Sometimes we throw out like a little curveball question to someone just to see where they land. And here's yours.
Because I love surprises.
I know. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, let me see if I can come up with some more. Okay, this is just a fun little question. If our pets could give us spiritual homework, what do you think they would assign us?
So there's like so many that just rolled in. So I may have to write it so that it comes out in a coherent sentence. Give me a second.
I wonder if Hunter's chiming in. Got some work for you people.
right?
You gotta-
Everybody goes home with homework.
He's like, first of all, you got to build a wider floor for me. Then we'll talk
He
about
really
your
doesn't
souls.
like, and I know you know this, the sound, like where with his nails and the pot, like that it does something to his nervous system that is just part of his neurosis.
Well, then tell him to stop then. Because he's the one doing it. Just stop running. Stop going crazy and like doing like a
Yeah, he does like the Flintstones.
the Fred Flintstone. Right. Stop it.
Well,
We could
there
get
could be
him
a
on.
message in there about self-fulfilling prophecies and things we do to ourselves. Just in general.
I think I should be offended right now.
No,
Shouldn't
I'm
I?
not talking about you specifically at all.
No,
I'm just
not
saying.
at all. Just because I look like Fred Flintstone doesn't mean you can say those jokes, okay?
No, there are things I get in my own way all the time. Are you kidding?
And I do a lot of running around and not going anywhere. So, but we could get him a
I'm
runner.
still writing their messages.
I think we should give him a runner. I was thinking about that, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so the biggest thing they want for humanity is one to remember that the human species has such a huge ego. Like on this planet, we think we're the best species. We think, that we're smarter than any other species out there. And the truth is that we're not. Whenever we measure animal intelligence, we base it against human standards. But there are lots of things that animal species do out there that I definitely can't do. I can't build a bird's nest. I can't, and I have opposable thumbs. The great divider
Right.
of species is opposable thumbs. And it's like, there's lots of stuff I can't do that animals can do. But we gauge it against the human standards and because we have such egos as a species. So one of their invitation would be to remember that as humans, we're not the only ones in this universe. We think that whatever your religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs are, but it's we think we're the only ones. And I can guarantee you that we're not. Animals, like I said, they never lose that connection. And they would love for us to connect to the universal energy again. Because everyone thinks that energy is woo-woo. And the truth is energy is science.
Right.
It's straight up science. And whether you're calling it vibes, energy, this person gives me a weird feeling, I love the way this person, that's science. And so to really connect back into that and use it, because that's where your intuition really comes from.
Right.
And particularly as a feeler, that's how I go through my whole day. That's how I decide who I want to spend time with. My to-do list is all done by energy. This one's supposed to be first. This one's supposed to be second. And if I do it out of order, everything goes sideways. And then to also just remember who you are. We didn't come here just to grind on this planet. We didn't come here to just survive, even though as there's many societies right now, ours included, that is a large portion of what everybody's just trying to do, just trying to get through. And just remembering and incorporating that into your life a little bit each day.
Okay, those are good ones.
Yeah, great ones.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. I know you've got a lot of resources on your website and things like that. So if someone wanted to learn more about you or reach out to you to get you to tell their pet to stop being so neurotic or anything like that, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Yes, the website. So whoknewhealing.com, new with a K. I did not pick the name. It was very much universe delivered. When you go, how do you know? It's I walked out of my friend's house when I started my business years ago. And as soon as I walked out from underneath the awning, it was like someone hit me in the head physically.
Wow.
And I was like, who knew healing really? And then I heard, who knew that the scientist could actually be woo-woo also?
Cool. I like
And
that.
I was like, oh, all right. So yes, whoknewhealing.com, lots of resources, information on there, as well as on YouTube or podcast platforms, Insights with Alicia. I have it's about 1.5 years worth of episodes that are all like mini classes. So relationship things, changing your own patterns of behavior, learning to develop your intuition. There's some energetic clearings on there. So it's all out there for free. And please, please, please take advantage of it.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
That's great.
Thank you for that service. That's incredible. You're a hoot. You're a lot of fun. I'm really,
guys are great.
really psyched to have met you.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that we stay in touch because, like I mentioned, our dog is neurotic. I mean,
I know, but we love him so
we
much.
we do love him very much. But all right, well, we really appreciate you being on the show, Alicia.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast, and it was lovely to meet your entire family. And big hugs from Kira, by the way. She was showing up too. She
yeah.
just-
We're going to have to talk to her offline about Kira.
I'll start crying.
All right, take care.